Okay, Chris, today we're talking about recruitment. As avid viewers of our social media channels and our website will know, we have a bit of a recruitment drive on at the minute. A couple of exciting roles on the go. And I suppose the point of us doing this is to have a wee bit of a behind-the-scenes look at MKB and just the general job market in Northern Ireland at the minute. So what's your take on the current legal recruitment landscape in NI?
I think there's an awful lot of talent out there. Obviously, it's a very competitive industry. Lots of good quality law firms in Belfast. So whilst the talent is good, obviously there's a lot of competition for those people. So attracting and retaining them is, as you say, front of mind for us.
Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot for me over the course of the last 15 years. And obviously there's outside factors has influenced that. I think the quality of candidates is still very good. It's just we don't have enough of them. That being said, that's against the backdrop as well of numbers at the Institute have actually increased. Mm-hmm. But it is a challenge. It's a challenge for everyone across the board. And I mean, are you hearing that from some of our peers as well?
Yeah, it seems to be a fairly consistent theme. It's great that the industry and this place is so busy.
Do you think that the avenues to qualification here in NI are restrictive or prohibitive?
Well, I suppose if you draw the comparison from where I qualified, which obviously is in England, most people privately fund themselves to get the necessary qualifications. You go university and then you go off to one of the LPC providers. Obviously, the LPC is going to be phased out fairly soon. But you didn't need to have a job in the legal industry, have a sponsoring employer. You didn't need to have any experience whatsoever. As long as you could fund the fees, you went and got your qualifications, and then you started trying to get a job in the legal market, which I suppose naturally meant, obviously it's a bigger place, but that route to qualification naturally meant there were more people out there with the relevant qualifications for the job than necessarily there were roles. Yeah. So obviously in Northern Ireland, you need that. You need to have a job and be backed to go through the institute, which means that there aren't those people out there looking for the jobs.
And I mean, the SQE route is now turning into a bit of a game changer. And I noticed there in the recent article of the RIT, we had our very own Tommy Conn who's done an article who came through that route as well. And it's something that I certainly expect to see more of over the coming years. Yes,
it seems to have a mixed reception from employers and potential future solicitors as well. I saw that Suella Braverman had waded in recently on the SQE. Look, it's a legitimate route to qualification and it's a new route. It will improve.
Yeah, we're just trying to find our feet.
Yeah.
So you and I are recent enough recruits to the MKB family, and I mean, if you ask me like why I chose MKB, it's quite an easy question for me to answer. I'm going to let you go first. You got in the door before me, and maybe from a slightly different background, obviously coming from a different jurisdiction as well. So
yeah, for me it was the authenticity of the firm. So I'd heard of MKB before I applied. Obviously, my experience was moving from England to Northern Ireland, so I had my feelers out there. And about a year after first hearing of MKB, I did come to meet Gordon and Maria for the first time for an interview. And again, that authenticity was there as well. And there was a lot of things about MKB that just chimed with me in terms of where I'd come from.
Yeah,
the types of clients, the quality of the work. It just seemed like a fit for me.
Yeah. And likewise, look, it's similar to myself. I mean, I had a very good working professional relationship with both Gordon and Maria over many years. And after a brief hiatus outside of the jurisdiction, I was only too glad to have conversations about coming on board. And I think the big pull for me was certainly the personnel and the people, but also, as you touched on, the quality of the work that MKB carry out and the quality of some of the clients. And that's not something to be taken lightly. That's a lot of years of building up trust. And And in a very competitive and often at times cutthroat market, the fact that MKB have hung on to those clients obviously was a big indicator to me of excellent customer service and excellent relationships, and just that commercial angle as well. So fast forward then, and we're both now firmly embedded within the MKB team. Work culture and flexibility. One of the main things that I've noticed, which I've been very impressed with, in MKB is the fact that there is no glass ceiling, which does exist in a lot of firms. That is a big, big thing, and not having that rigid structure.
And it ties in with the growth structure that we have, because there are roles that will become available in the next 6, 12 months, 3 years, 5 years that don't exist yet. Mm-hmm. But they will, because of the trajectory that we're on. Yeah,
and that's why at the minute, I mean, I'm delighted that we have, obviously there's 3 roles at the minute that we need filled, but it's certainly not a closed book. We expect that over the next 6 to 12 months there'll be further roles.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the couple of technology changes over the last year as well, which I think have really increased let's call it the employee experience. Maybe you might be best to actually touch on that, because you've been at the forefront of implementing some of that.
One of them in particular I was very keen on, which is Lexis plus AI. We'll not get into the AI debate, that's for another day, but the fact that Lexis AI draws on its own content, which I've come to trust implicitly over a number of years, is incredible. It's an incredible tool to use. Obviously, we have the paperless files, which makes the office less cluttered, but it also means that working away from the office is very easy.
Yeah.
To me, there's nothing better than working with good technology.
Yeah.
And again, I suppose a bit like the growth strategy, we are on a constant mission to modernize where we can, which I think is so important.
Yeah, and that move to a full paperless system was a very difficult concept for me to get my head around. Coming from a property and a banking background, I mean, we do have a lot of hard copy documents still. I have to say my initial skepticism was very short-lived, and I'm now 14 months down the line, and to think of going back to that paperless system. So I think, certainly for more experienced practitioners, my advice there would be, do not see these changes as being a bad thing, and you will quickly adapt to certain things, and your professional life will be made a lot, certainly in my case, a lot easier.
Yeah.
So Chris, I mean, we're already starting to see applications coming in for the post that's been advertised, and I suppose this is a consistent theme that we're seeing a lot of people that are looking to relocate back to Northern Ireland. I think it would be good actually to hear about your story. I know we've already touched on it, but you, having no ties previously to Northern Ireland, found yourself with big ties to Northern Ireland, and you made the relocation over here.
Yeah.
How did you find that generally? And any advice that you would give to anyone looking to make that move?
So I lived in Liverpool before moving over. My whole career was Liverpool. Initially, it was nervous because I had 10 years plus experience of litigating in England, which is a very different system. Mm-hmm. And I felt that I was at a certain level there that I was very happy with. Moving here, different jurisdiction, not completely different, of course, but different rules to get my head around. But I was given the support to do that. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference that I hadn't initially appreciated, which is that as much as I love Liverpool and had a great career there, it's not a capital city.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to work in London. It was just never something that I was interested in. So what I've realised is the status of Belfast and the types of businesses here, banking headquarters, big accountancy firms, it's a really, really buoyant and dynamic place to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Which I hadn't appreciated until I, got to this point.
We often joke about Belfast being a village. And you're never too far away from knowing somebody who knows somebody. How have you found that?
Everyone you meet is very, very nice. There's much more sort of conversational, get to know you style with, it could even be your opponent in my case of litigation. There's still a very conversational getting to know you and your first name terms pretty much as soon as you meet.
And it goes without saying, if anyone was in that bracket of looking to relocate, they could drop you a line on LinkedIn,
100%.
And you'll be quite happy to pick up on that. So, well, looking ahead then, obviously we've touched about the current opportunities at MKB. That's just for the current need that there are roles that we just need to fill in 3 of our busiest departments, really.
Yeah.
We do have a very strong growth trajectory, as you mentioned, and new hires are going to be fundamental to that. Okay, well, it is a hot topic, recruitment, and it's certainly a hot topic in MKB at the minute. We have been delighted with the response so far to the marketing campaign, recruitment drive that we're on at the minute. So final comments for me, Chris, before I leave you with a final comment. But we're ideally looking at 3 to 5 year PQE. That to me would be the sweet spot on residential conveyancing, commercial conveyancing, and corporate lawyer. More than willing to talk to and receive CVs from anyone either with a lower PQE rate or certainly with a higher one. Like I say, certainly I don't view us as being a closed book, and there are no glass ceilings. I don't think I can get any more cliches into that sentence, so I'm going to pass over to you now, Chris, for any final words on recruitment.
Yeah, so I think all the things that we've talked about are the reasons why this is a great firm to work for. Yeah. I think now is such an exciting time to join because of the plans that we have for the next few years. And I think, as maybe we've talked about me, I've kind of shown you don't have to have a career-long career in Northern Ireland to work here, enjoy it, and thrive. Yeah. Which is my experience. So you could be time served like yourself or a newbie like me. Doesn't really matter. The opportunities are there, and the opportunities are really exciting. Okay, and all details of the current vacancies are on our website. And if anyone wants to drop any of our senior management team directors, associate directors, a line on LinkedIn, we're more than happy to chat with anyone and answer any queries. Okay, thanks very much, Chris. Thanks, Neil.